Hello, and welcome to another episode of Backlog Brain Rot. I am joined, as usual, by my co-host, Strawhat,
Konnichiwa, Minasan.
as well as a special guest making his long overdue appearance again, is Nintendo 64 superfan Addi.
The rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated. Hello, everyone.
So we actually thought you just disappeared to pursue your opera career after the Great Mighty Pooh song that went global last episode you were on.
You're not wrong, actually. I got a few offers. There was a few coke-fueled binges, let's just say. But we're back home now, and everything's semi-normal.
Yeah, semi-normal is the right way to say it, because we have to just shout out the fact that this episode was just like cursed to existence. Every time we tried to plan this thing, something went wrong.
Yeah, I was literally dying the first time we were going to do it. I was bedridden for like 3 days, and this is just after I got back from Cuba, so I probably picked up something at the airport or there or wherever. But yeah, I was literally dying, so that wasn't going to happen, and just kept getting delayed for reasons. But we're finally here.
Yep, and then today, an hour before recording, all of a sudden a huge thunderstorm came in, knocked my power out. I'm like, oh my god, it's happening again. But we made it. We are here to talk about the Nintendo 64. Maybe, arguably, I mean, Addi won't agree, probably the least popular Nintendo console, I'd have to say, other than the Virtual Boy.
Oh, it is the least popular for sure. I don't think it's the worst, but least popular, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, it's funny because I feel like a lot of people like love a lot of games that were on Nintendo 64, but I don't think like they realize that just like it did not sell whatsoever.
Well, I think a lot of people too have a problem with the controller, which,
Yeah.
I like the 64 controller. Like, that's my hot take. I'm a big fan of that controller. But I think a lot of people just can't get past that controller, and it kind of, hurts their enjoyment of the system.
If you think about it too, a lot of like the big Nintendo franchises, especially multiplayer ones, got started on the N64. So
Yeah, it was a very important console, and we're going to discuss the top 10 games, but we're going to be trying to hit on most of the big games in the library, I'd say. We had 35 different games get votes for the people's different top 10s that wrote in. But even that, there was still like a good list of games that didn't get votes I wrote down for us to discuss. We're going to give the Nintendo 64 the justice it deserves. But before we get to the actual list, I figured we could just quickly go around and just talk about our history with the console. And Addi, since you're the biggest fan, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, well, I think most of the listeners will know my tepid history with Nintendo, to say the least. But the 64 is kind of the first ever console that was mine, if that makes sense. Like, I got it for Christmas. It was a gift for me, and this was my video game console. Hey, go have fun with this one. I spent so many days at Rogers Video renting video games for this console. I played there wasn't many Nintendo 64 games. I think it was like 700 and something, if I recall correctly, total games made for the 64. I played a good chunk of those. I played a lot of Nintendo 64 games, at least the ones I could in North America. So I have a lot of love for this console because it was after this point. Like, I loved the NES, I loved the Super Nintendo, I loved the Nintendo 64, but that was really the last Nintendo console that really truly drew me in, because I was never a GameCube fan. I hate the Wii. I have nothing good to say about the Wii U. I fuck with the Wii U, and then the Switch. I'm warmer on it than I used to be, but I still love it. So this was kind of the last hurrah for me from Nintendo. It was one of my favorite developers of all time, and Rare at their peak with the Nintendo 64, which I'd be surprised if we don't see a lot of them on this list. At least on my personal list, they were. But they just owned this console. So a lot of good memories from this console. I mean, it invented Rumble. The Rumble Pack is a Nintendo 64 thing. It invented it. So there's a lot of things this console brought that I don't think people fully appreciate to this day.
Yeah, so I got this also for Christmas with my brother. My cousin had an N64 before us, and I was always so jealous because he had Smash Brothers. And then one of my uncle's friends had Mario 64, which I was just shocked by. He also had Mortal Kombat, which I played, and then I had nightmares that night. So that kicked off my horror-loving dreams, I guess. But I was so excited for the N64. Like, we got Smash and NFL Quarterback Club 2000 were our first two games. I was so excited I went and threw up and then came back in and started playing. So that's how excited I was to play the N64.
Oh God, were you the N64 kid, Straw Hat?
I wish I was, but
Okay,
no, I didn't
okay.
have a. I think the N64 kid has a sister, where I have a brother.
Oh, okay,
So,
fair.
but it's funny. Like I was big into sports games. I played so many sports games on N64. I was just looking at my collection now. Like half the games I own on N64 are sports games, which is crazy.
Did you ever play any of the NHL games?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
those are
love.
great.
Let me see which one.
Did you ever play Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey?
I played NHL Breakaway. Those were the
Okay.
ones. NHL Breakaway 98 was like the game I played so much on
I like
N64.
I liked Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey a lot because it was just really stupid, and like there'd be like little things like if your goalie made enough saves, the announcer would go, "That goalie's a wall," and he'd literally turn into a brick
Oh,
wall, so you couldn't score anymore. There's stupid things like that, but it was really fun.
that sounds better than Breakaway. I actually just played NHL Breakaway. Was it last year when I got the Steam Deck? I played a lot of matches on it. It's still fun. Like I still like the old N64 type sports games because they're kind of in that stage where they're like half arcadey, half simulation. So
So for me, the Nintendo 64, it's like kind of vague. I definitely know my uncle had one, and I went and played it at his house. And I believe there were times where I borrowed it from him, but I wasn't really super into video games. Like I feel like that didn't happen until I was in elementary school, and the GameCube came out when I think I was 7 or 8. So that was really my first like main console I had to myself at home, and I'd play it all the time. So N64 was actually something I played like sporadically before then, and then for whatever reason, I don't remember how it happened, we ended up with one while I already had a GameCube. So I definitely didn't play it when it was more timely, but I have a lot of memories of playing like Smash Brothers, Pokemon Snap. I played obsessively. Pokemon Stadium. My brother and me, my brother, and my mom would play a lot of these games. So I definitely have memories, but more as a multiplayer machine because like a lot of the
mhm.
single player classic games in this I didn't have at the time. I didn't play them until the Wii Virtual Console for a lot of these.
Well, and see, like for me too, I feel like my list's gonna be a little strange because I wasn't allowed to play like certain. Like I did play GoldenEye, but I wasn't. I only played it because my friend had it the one time. I really wasn't allowed to like play those type of games when I was that young. So, like none of those games are gonna be on my list.
Yeah, so how about we just get into it now because there's a lot of games for us to discuss here. So as always, we solicited write-ins, but the three of us each did our own list. Number one our first place game would get 10 points down to our 10th place game getting 1 point. Let's say we also got some write-ins where the people did not have full 10, and you can definitely tell that our audience in our Discord skews a little younger because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I can't write in this time because I never played a Nintendo 64." I'm like,
Bunch
okay.
of
Zoomers.
Yeah, bunch of babies.
Bunch of Zoomers, man. Get off the Discord, you Zoomers.
And I'm kind of in the middle because I did play most of these on Nintendo 64, but we'll pretend that, it doesn't matter. So this first like batch of games will be numbers 35 to 27. So these games all got 3 points or less. NBA Courtside, Quake 2, StarCraft 64, Mario Golf, WWF No Mercy, Pokemon
Oh,
Stadium 1, Spider-Man, Rugrats in Paris, and Snowboard Kids. There are a lot of ones in here that I think are really worth talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the first game on the list was me, apparently, NBA Courtside. That was like the basketball game, the first basketball game I ever played. It's funny because my memory with that game is I was still trying to decide which sports team I wanted to root for when I was younger because my dad wasn't a basketball fan. So it was just up to me to pretty much choose my favorite team and favorite player. So I used to like the Charlotte Hornets just because I liked their uniforms and their logo, but I had no idea of any of the players or anything. But then that's when I started watching a player named Allen Iverson, and I really liked watching him play. So then I'm like, well, I'm going to do a CPU versus CPU match, 76ers versus the Hornets, and whoever wins, I'm going to root for that team. And the 76ers won, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. For me, the one I want to shout out, I'm going to save WWF for Addi because I know he wants to talk about that. But I had to just shout out Spider-Man. I voted that. It was kind of weird because I know this. I played this on PS1, but it is an N64 game. The Never Saw Spider-Man game is just amazing to me. It's still one of my favorite Spider-Man games. And then also the original Pokemon Stadium. I played that so much. I remember you could like insert the Game Boy game so you could use your actual Pokemon team in Pokemon Stadium, which is cool. But my mom and I would just go to I don't know if either of you guys played this, like the mini game zone in Pokemon Stadium, and we would
Yeah,
just
yeah.
play that for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium was fun. I like the mini games too. I remember being frustrated that there wasn't like an actual Pokemon game
Yeah.
on the Nintendo 64, but Pokemon Stadium was pretty fun.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to play Pokemon, so I was deprived.
I think, did you say Snowboard Kids too?
Yes, I like
Yeah,
that game
shout
also.
out Snowboard Kids. Snowboard Kids is awesome. Both those games, they're fun. They just missed my honorable mention. But yeah, I'm already mad. WWF No Mercy is great. It's one of the best sports games ever made, quite frankly. Certainly the best wrestling game ever made. It was in my top 10, so very disappointed to see it down this far. But of course, you
What number?
sports rubes wouldn't put it on your lists.
What
So-
number
You
was
guys, of
it?
course. It
It-
was 32nd or something.
Oh, no, I mean,
it was
what-
in 31st place. It only had 2 points
Yeah.
because Addi put it in 10th and I put it in 10th. So
Yeah,
we're the
well,
only two
yeah,
people
at
that
least
voted for it.
at least we were smart. Yeah, No Mercy is great though. Like it is just the gold standard of wrestling games. And what I love the most about No Mercy is the game still holds up. Graphically, not not at all. But if you try to play that game, it still plays impeccably. Like it works perfectly. You could port over that exact gameplay system to a wrestling game today, and it wouldn't feel out of place. It's so great.
Yeah, I loved this game. My brother and I would like obviously play normal and just like wrestle, but a lot of the time we would just like get out of the ring and throw each other around because I remember you could go backstage and explore all back there.
There's so much.
So we would just like go back there, throw because you had to like throw your opponent through the door or whatever to get it to go to the next zone. So we would just do that to each other. And then inevitably one of us would pin the other person when we were still exploring, and then we get mad and fight about it. But yeah, we played that so much. Like I've never liked a wrestling game since this. This is like the only one I like obsessively played.
I would actually I'd be playing with my friends, and there was a special guest referee mode, and so I'd always have my friend play like the computer, and then I'd like pretend I was going to count 3, and then I'd fuck him over and like let the computer win. There's so much fun things to do with that game. It was just great.
Yeah, NBA Courtside was number 10 on my list, by the way. But the only wrestling game I ever played was on Super Nintendo. My cousin was really big into wrestling back in the Super Nintendo, but then he switched to boxing on N64. So I played a couple boxing games, but I didn't play any wrestling games then.
Also, kind of shout out WWF Attitude. That was another wrestling game I had. That one was not nearly
Awful
it was
video
good.
game, but it was fun. Like I played the shit out of that too. But yeah, it was to compare to No Mercy, it's a bad video game.
Yeah, we had both, and we would go between the two, but we mostly just played No Mercy.
Yeah.
All right, so 26 to 22 all had 4 points. This one has
I'm scared.
so Yoshi's Story,
Ugh.
Mystical Ninja starring Goemon,
Oh my boy.
Mischief Makers,
Oh my boy.
the original Mario Party, and then
Ugh.
GoldenEye. I was surprised to see it
Oh,
this
yeah,
low.
that is
Oh yeah, these are some
surprising.
good ones. Fuck.
Yeah, so I've never. The only one here I really played a lot of. I remember renting the original Mario Party, but you know my hatred of Mario Party, and I never didn't like it back then either. So the only game here I played was Yoshi's Story. It did not make my list. It is not that good of a
Yeah,
game.
who voted for Yoshi's Story? That game is an insult to the Yoshi games. I feel like.
Okay, let me. Okay. Well, I'm not going to defend Yoshi's Story. I think it's not bad though. Like, I actually think that game's kind of cute. It's got a really nice art style, especially for the
Yeah.
time. I think it's gorgeous. Definitely been better Yoshi games, but I don't mind Yoshi's Story.
Yeah, I always liked like as a kid. This is a game I remember borrowing from my uncle. Like I think we borrowed his entire N64, and I remember playing this. And I loved like how you could pick all the different color Yoshis. That was something, and they're all like in that backstage like waiting room,
Yeah.
and you get to pick. And when you die, one of them gets taken away.
Yeah.
Instead of like so you like it's like instead of losing a life, you have to manage the Yoshis. But as a kid, I was horrified. The first time I died and it got taken away, I was like so scared. I was scarred. I remember this. I have a vivid memory of me standing in like the living room crying to my mom, like, I don't want to go farther in the level. I'm gonna die and Yoshi's gonna get kidnapped. And she's probably just like, this stupid kid, I gotta take this game from him.
Well, see, I remember like I was so excited for this game because coming after Yoshi's Island, which I think is one of the best games ever. Like it's so good. And this game is just so short. Like I remember, I don't know if my brother got it or I did, but it was expensive to get N64 games, of course, and we didn't have much money. This game only has like 6 levels. Like, it doesn't take long to get through. So that just made us so mad. Like, I know you can play through it a couple times because you can go different routes, but just like compared to the amount of levels in Yoshi's Island, I was so disappointed.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Like it's just like it's like you could pick the stage 1, 2, or 3, but if you pick 1, you can only do the ones or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played this game.
Have I gotta ask? So, have neither of you played Mischief Makers?
No, that's one of the
I've
only
heard
games that got
about
votes
it,
I've
but
never heard
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
that's such a shame. Mischief Makers so good. So I had that at seventh on my list. I'm a big fan of Mischief Makers. It's one of the more unique video games I've ever played. Um, and that developer, I forget what he's doing now, but he's still making games. So if you ever get a chance, man, like just even just emulating this game, it's so cool. I know Moki played through it recently, and I don't know if he liked it as much as I did, but he definitely enjoyed it. So it's worth checking out if you ever get the chance because if nothing else, you'll never play another video game like this. It's so fucking weird, but I love it to pieces.
I've heard Goemon's really cool too. Like, I've never
Yeah, that's
played
another
that
one. That
one,
was
but
actually in that one was in my honorable mentions. Mystic Ninja starring Goemon. It's great. So if you ever get a chance to play that one too, just missed my top 10. Great game.
see, I had Mario Party 1 on my list at number 6, and I know there's better Mario Parties that are probably going to be coming up later, but this first one I just have such good memories with my cousins, and it's just obviously it was the first one, and you got to give mad props to this first Mario Party because this game hates you. Like, there's none of this fun like the other Mario Parties, like, oh, you lost a mini game? It's okay. You don't have to lose any coins. Just the winner gets coins. No, this game, you lose those 1 versus 3 mini games. You have to give your coins to the player who won. And you lose coins for doing bad on mini games. So I respect that this game just kicks you in the teeth and doesn't apologize, but it is also makes it kind of suck too. So I'm glad that they changed it later. But there's also way too many one player mini games like and that go really slow. But shout out to having like 8 boards, which most other Mario Party games don't come close to anymore.
So before we move on, any words on GoldenEye? I did not. The only time I've
Oh
ever
yeah.
played this was when it got added to Switch Online. I played it like for 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah, this game's horrible, but I obviously do not have the nostalgia of playing it when it was modern.
So quickly about Mario Party, I just want to mention everyone thinks I hate Mario Party. I actually do like the original ones in N64. I didn't have any of them in my list, but they're fun games. One would definitely not be the one I'd put in there though. But yeah, I do like the original Mario Party games. I think they're pretty fun. As for GoldenEye, the problem I have with GoldenEye is I think it's really I do like it. A lot of it's nostalgia, I do think, but I do kind of like the campaign and the multiplayer. Definitely had some fun. There's just a much better first person shooter from Rare. I assume that'll be a little bit higher. I voted for it high. I don't know if it'll make the top 10 or not, but I'll talk about that when I get to it. But I just think that game kind of blows away GoldenEye for me personally.
Yeah, when I played on Switch Online, I'm like, yeah, I can see why this was popular back then, and I can see why I never would ever want to play this again. So this is going to be a big section because these are all the games that had 10 points between 7 and 10.
Oh boy.
So starting with the sevens, Star Fox 64,
Ah,
Kirby and the Crystal Shards,
Mm.
Ogre Battle 64, Dr.
Ooh.
Mario 64, Banjo Tooie, Perfect Dark,
Oh.
Super Smash Brothers,
Mm.
Mario Kart 64, and Star Wars Pod Racer. So that's like huge section. So we can kind of talk about most of these if you want. For me, I really just had to say Mario Kart 64, I think doesn't hold up in the gameplay, compared to the more modern Mario Karts, but it's still like my nostalgic favorite. It's either this or Double Dash because I played Mario Kart 64 all the time. And then I remember we got it on Wii Virtual Console and my friends and I would boot this up and play it all the time. Like the maps are definitely very barren now compared, it definitely shows its age in that way, but I think that the map variety is really good in that game. And yeah, I just really liked that one. And I remember like especially I remember going to like the Donkey Kong level. And like when you
Mm-hmm.
drive on the grass, you get coconuts thrown at you. And my brother and I just like driving around off roading, trying to look for secrets. Because you remember in the Peach Circuit, you could find the Mario 64 castle. So like I just remember the two of us exploring the game, going off roading, which is, just something that like that innocent kind of child thoughts, like, oh yeah, if I go explore here, maybe I'll find something. And we always just fell and died, but it was a fun time.
Yeah, I didn't play too much Mario Kart 64 because there was another kart racer that I think is better on N64 that I played more of, but it still was a fun time. It definitely was a big step up over the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, Mario Kart 64 is fun. It's like Straw said, there's a better kart racer on there already, so I didn't put it in my top 10.
So Perfect Dark, Addy, is Addy the only one who voted for it,
This
or?
list is making me cranky, man. All right, there should be a rule, like if you're not a fan of the 64, fucking don't vote. Anyways, Perfect Dark was second on my list, and then Star Fox 64 was fourth. So I'm just gonna take some time to talk about these masterpieces that you all
Nice.
ignored. We'll start with Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64 is fantastic. It's it is the best Star Fox game. I'm sorry, nothing else compares to this game. It introduced the Rumble Pack, you heathens. So if it wasn't for Star Fox 64, your controller wouldn't rumble. So fucking respect it. I remember playing this game as a kid and finding out for the first time that like if you did certain things in the levels, it would branch paths. That was so cool to me. Like I was just like, oh man, if you and like you had to kind of figure things out. Like if you killed a certain amount of enemies or you went a certain way, that's what would unlock the other path. You'd have alternate endings and stuff like that. There was so much depth to this game for the time. I love the story, the little character moments. It was just, I love Star Fox 64 so much. I don't know. Either you guys like it. I don't know if you have any experience with this game at all, or but
Never played it.
okay.
So funny enough, I actually just replayed the original Star Fox like 2 weeks ago, and I played Star Fox 2 last night. So I actually am going to be playing Star Fox 64 sometime soon. I have played it. I played the 3DS version though, so that's where like a lot of my list. Honestly, there's no games here that I would have taken off for it, but I do like Star Fox 64, and maybe I'll like it even more when I play it, probably in the coming days. But I do like it. It's a good game. It's kind of funny because like I'm just looking at this list, and it's like there are a lot of good games on Nintendo 64. Maybe not as many as some other consoles, but like there's a lot of games coming
There's
up
some
and
big
just like
ones.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
there's more. Perfect Dark is number 2 for me, and yeah, this one hurts, but I'm not surprised. I didn't think it would crack the top 10. Perfect Dark though is phenomenal. I still think it's one of the better first person shooters I've ever played. The story's great. It's pulpy. It's rare at its best, doing its things with its stories. It had some early immersive sim stuff in there. Love the fact of the depending on what difficulty you do it, you kind of it adds some extra objectives to you. So like it could like you'd have to like do an extra thing or two depending on what difficulty you played on. I thought that was really cool. It was one of the few games to take advantage of the expansion pack on the Nintendo 64 because it was just so advanced and out there. And I really appreciate the multiplayer in this game because as somebody who only had like I had a couple of friends, growing up and stuff, but they weren't really super into video games. But this game had bots, so like you could do the multiplayer with the bots, and there was fun
Nice.
things to do with that. So it was way ahead of its time in that regard. So yeah, Perfect Dark's a real special game for me, and I definitely think it's a masterpiece and one of the best on the Nintendo 64. So y'all are either crazy
We
or
all
you haven't played
suck.
it. So one of the two. But
Yeah, I haven't played that either.
I have funny enough, I only have played Perfect Dark Zero, the horrible XR64 game.
yeah, no, that's yeah, perfect. As much as I want to fanboy Perfect Dark Zero, I can't. The game's a mess. But no, the original Perfect Dark's definitely better, and it's a huge improvement over GoldenEye in my opinion. So definitely give it a shot at some point.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I
It's
do
really
want to
good.
play that at some point. It seems like one of those. There's like I've kind of noted what games are popped up on this list, and I've made notes for which ones I got to go back and play.
Yeah.
All right, and Connor, stop trying to get Banjo and Tooie to be a thing by giving it all the points. You refuse to go back and play it yourself, too. You just are going off your memory here. So,
He did. He was the only vote for it,
Yeah.
and he said Banjo Tooie, let my precious memories be.
yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
hate Banjo Tooie. It was like it would have been in my top 20 if I made a top 20. It would have made my top
if
20.
I'm
if
just
the first four worlds were amazing, but then you get to Gruntilda's factory.
yeah, no, Banjo Kazooie will be high up the list, I
Oh yeah,
imagine, and it deserves that. Banjo Tooie does not. Shout out Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer. I think that was in my honorable mentions, or I was going to mention in my honorable mentions if I didn't. Good game though. Really fun racer game. Actually, I actually like that game a lot.
I also got to shout out Smash. That was number 6 on my list. Now, the first Smash, it's definitely not aged well. Like, if you try to go back to it, it's definitely the worst Smash to try to play because it's just, you don't even have like side specials. You only have 12 characters, but it started the franchise, and I had played that game a lot, like with my friends and cousin. That was like one of the first games, like I mentioned, that we got on N64. And my favorite thing was, like, of course we didn't have the internet to look up how to unlock characters. I, for the life of me, could never figure out how to unlock Luigi. And all you had to do was go to the training mode and play through training mode. But why would I ever do that? Because, like, we're gamers, of course. We don't need training mode. But I tried so hard. Like, I unlocked Captain Falcon, Jigglypuff, and Ness. I beat the game on very hard without dying. I'm like, I cannot unlock Luigi. I just want to play as Luigi. And then, like, years later, I looked it up, and you just had to do that. So I dug out my N64, got my copy out, went and did it, and unlocked them right away, and finally got to play as Luigi.
Yeah, that game holds up horribly, but I do have memories of renting it and playing it quite a bit with my brother. And I remember being really scared of the Master Hand. I don't know why. I was scared of everything.
Yeah, what happened? Now I'm scared of everything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I got nothing positive to say about Smash. I don't think it'd be in my top 50.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was not in mine.
Yeah, I mean, so, not all Smash. Like, there are some Smash games that are fun, but the 64 one, not it for me.
Melee definitely was a huge step up compared to the original.
Yes, absolutely.
Shout out Kirby Crystal Shards. Don't have a lot to say about it, but it's Kirby.
It's one of the few actually 64 games I haven't played. So
I did like that one. The coolest thing about that Kirby game was that you could combine powers, but that was another one where we rented it and beat it in like one day, and I'm just like, oh, it's cool, but it's so short.
Yeah, seems to be definitely a pattern in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
Old games in general. But we can move on to our top 10, which, of course, with some ties.
Yes, ties.
So it's actually a top 12, but there's a 3-way tie for 10th. So we'll just hit those quick.
So before we start, though, how many games are left in your guys' top 10?
Oh, yeah, it's a good. I got 6.
Okay, I have 7 left because 3 of mine got knocked out.
Yeah, I got 4 of mine knocked out.
One, two. I only got 3 of mine knocked out, actually. So,
okay, so you're the norm. You're the 64 normie,
which makes sense because I have the least experience with it. Yeah. So I've just played the hits.
Fair enough.
So they're like 2 of them about to get knocked out right here at 10, though, for them to tie. So the first one we can discuss is Donkey Kong 64. The 3 of us have talked about this quite a bit. So these games in 10th got 12 points, so I would wager all 12 are just from the 3 of us.
Yeah, because I had it at 5th.
I had it at 9.
I had it at 7. So yeah, so we were we've already podcast about this. So we don't have to talk about it too long, but
we liked it. We loved it. We want some more of it.
Great game. People are filtered by this game. That's great.
I know. I had heard so many legends about it, about how bad it was, how bloated and terrible it was, and I played it. I'm like,
they should have been saying that about Banjo 2.
Banjo 2. I was just gonna say Banjo 2 is what you think Donkey Kong Country 64 is.
And then another one in 10th. I've never played it. Mario Tennis on N64.
Okay.
Yeah, Mario Tennis is fun. It's actually, I'm trying to think if I like that or Mario Golf better. Was Mario Golf up there? I forget.
Mario Golf was down at 32nd. I only got
32nd. Yeah, Mario Golf's pretty close to me. I those early sports games, like I don't like them now at all, but those early ones for 64 weren't bad. Mario Tennis was actually pretty fun from what I remember, so I did enjoy playing that game. There's another game I rented all the time from Rogers. So.
First appearance of Waluigi and Daisy.
Yes, my boy Waluigi finally getting his time to shine.
Yeah, for me, I've always been curious to go back to these like N64 versions of the sports games, but I like the first ones I played were all the GameCube ones, which I feel like most people still think are the best ones.
Yeah, I agree.
For a lot of
they're probably better.
So like it's kind of hard for me to be like, okay, I want to go back and try the N64 version because I don't, it can't be as polished as the GameCube ones, but I'd be curious. People seem to like this tennis one, I guess.
Did any of you guys have Mario Tennis in your top 10 or no? Oh, you haven't played it, right?
I never even played it.
Oh, yeah,
I liked it, but I didn't put it in my top 10.
Okay, fair.
And then our third game in 10th place is Pokemon Snap, which I had at 5th. That's how it got up so high.
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't even have that in my honorable mentions, and I should have. Pokemon Snap was fun. Do you guys remember the little photo booth at Blockbuster you could go to print the photos out?
I
No.
never did it. I've heard about it though.
Okay.
I've seen pictures and
Yeah.
stuff.
No, Pokemon Snap was fun. It was definitely for its time. I thought a really cool idea. And again, it was kind of frustrating because it's like, why isn't there a real Pokemon game on 64? We're just getting shit like this. But using all the little secret tricks to try find Pokemon, that was a fun game. I liked it.
Yeah, my mom and I played this, and just like we made sure to take a photo of every Pokemon, and just like you guys were saying earlier, the internet. I played this later, but I was still in elementary school when I played this, and they didn't have the ready access to the internet, or if we did, it was
Mhm.
dial up. So we kind of had to figure out all the secrets on our own. Which going back and playing this game now, it's pretty obvious for the most part, like what you need to be doing to unlock the new stages. But it's really cool, and I like how it really encouraged you to play each level multiple times because you would unlock new power ups. And I just remember just like beating all the Pokemon with apples in the face and just like getting like I was just like a sadistic kid, I guess. Like they just run in front of the tracks, and I wouldn't let them move. They just hit them over and over again. Did you play this, Straw?
No, I wasn't allowed to.
Oh, right, you weren't
Remember?
allowed. Yeah, you should. I don't know what you'd think now playing it.
I
Like I
I
don't know
mean
how
I
it holds up,
Have you
but
guys played the Switch one? Is it any good?
it
I have
is.
not.
I have. It's definitely better technically, like mechanically, but it definitely lacks some of the soul for
Charm.
me, some of the charm.
Yeah. Okay.
It,
That's what I figured. But
yeah, it was like really glad that they. You got to give them credit that they went back to that, but I don't know that it was necessarily like the best. But it was. I'm glad that they made another one because I love this first one. So then from now on, we have no more ties. So those three games had 12 points. And the next game, so number 9, is Mario Party 3, which had 13 points. So it was
Ooh.
very close.
Yeah, that was number 4 on my list. This is my favorite N64 Mario Party. And I've heard that Mario Party 2 is really good as well. I played it a little bit, but I didn't own that one. They do some really cool stuff with that. But Mario Party 3 was just a huge step up compared to the first one when I first played it. Like my cousin got this one, we played it so much. It had way more mini games, and a lot of the mini games were better. Plus, it had way more characters to pick from. I always picked Waluigi, so Addi would be proud of me. But that's who I played as most in Mario Party 3. But yeah, it's still one of the best Mario parties I feel like to this day.
yeah, I think Mario Party 2 was the one I played the most of, honestly. But I have played Mario Party 3. And like you, I was definitely a Waluigi main at that point, too. And I do remember enjoying it. Again, there was something about these 64 ones that really nostalgic. I could still feel the burn in the center of my palm from these games. The tug of war games
Oh, I
kill
hate
me.
that game.
I remember you could actually send in to get a glove.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I never did. I should have, though. It'd probably be a cool collector's item now.
Yeah, yeah, that was with the first game. That's why they released Mario Party 2 so much. But yeah, I didn't even know about that till like years later. And yeah,
I've never
Parrott, we know
played
you
this
hate
one.
Mario
No.
Party, so
I think the only Mario Parties I've played that are not like on Switch, I've tried all of them because it just keeps being thrust upon me where I need to play these games.
yeah, get
But
ready for October, by the way.
no. I think I've only played one, like renting one, and then I played five. And five is the one that made me just hate Mario Party. So I can't really speak. Maybe 2 and 3 are great. Maybe I should try them, but I don't know.
Just remember, listeners, I'm not the biggest Mario Party hater on this episode. All right, just remember
Hmm.
that.
No, it's definitely me. So we can move on to number 8. Just get out of the Mario Party talk. That is Pokemon Stadium 2, which had 14 points. So this got a lot of points.
Where did you guys have it on your lists?
I never played it because, like I said,
Oh,
I
okay.
was
Yeah. Did you have it on your list, Parrot, or no?
No, I didn't. So it just kind of
Okay.
got a bunch of because Connor had it second, so that's how it got
Okay.
up so high. And then other
I've
people wrote in with it like in the middle, so it got a lot of points.
I've played Pokemon Stadium 2, but I'm going to be honest with you, I cannot remember like what differentiated itself from Pokemon Stadium 1. I have more memories of Pokemon Stadium 1, as weird as that might be. But I've definitely played both, so yeah, I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, I kind of want to go and just try it because I only played one. Because when I was a kid, I loved Gen 1, and then I never played like I loved Gen 1, and then I didn't have then I got like I skipped Gen 2, and then I played like 3 and the remakes of 1. So I didn't play Gen 2 until I was in high school when the DS remake came out. So I guess I just was like, I don't really care about Pokemon Stadium 2. I don't know these Pokemon, so I have no idea. I've never played this one. And then Straw, always, sheltered. He was not allowed to
I
play
know.
Pokemon.
So I was just thinking though, I'm like somehow Pikachu snuck in through Smash, but that was a good trick by Nintendo to get him introduced through the Pokemon hating parents.
so that now we're down to our top 7, and I think from here on out we're gonna have a lot more to say about these games, just because I know you guys, and a lot of the ones coming up here are the big hitters at this point. But number 7 is Diddy Kong Racing with 15 points.
Very nice, very nice.
So I'll
Where
let
did
you
you guys
guys.
all have it?
I did not list this one, and I know
Okay.
you two both did. So
Yeah, I had it
Strawhat.
ninth. I had it ninth.
Okay, I had it 8th, so I guess I'll go first.
Yep.
Diddy Kong Racing's honestly one of my favorite kart racers ever. And it's just so, again, I use the word unique a lot, but it is very unique. It's a kart racer with a story. There's a really cool story in it. You're kind of going through multiple areas. There's secrets. There's so much hidden stuff. When you were mentioning all the secret stuff in Mario Kart 64, I mean, that was Diddy Kong Racing. There was so much secret stuff to discover in that game. Also, I'm sure it's no secret, but Conker's going to be very high up for me. Conker's in this game. He's a little bit different, but he's in this game. He's just chilling and happy. So is Banjo. Yeah, so you get a lot of like these cool characters before they got their own time to shine. With Nintendo 64 games, and mechanically it's a great car racer. It plays well, it still holds up. The weapon system, the racing system is very good. It just goes to show you Rare could really do no wrong. They're making first person shooters, they were making kart racers, they're making platformers. Like literally, what couldn't these guys do? They made fighters with Killer Instinct. I mean, it was literally nothing Rare couldn't do. So yeah. I love Diddy Kong Racing. It's a great game.
Yeah, I have 4 Rare games in my top 10, and Diddy Kong Racing is one of the games I still own complete in box. That was one of my favorite. I still think I agree with you, Addi. Like I think it is my favorite kart racing game still to this day. The boss fights too were crazy. Like I still remember that dragon.
Yeah, the boss fights are great.
I just could not beat it. It was so hard. I don't even know if I beat Wizpig as a kid. Like it was so hard, those boss fights. But I think the only kart racer I played more was Double Dash on GameCube, but that's just because we would go to my cousins and play it like every week. But just like to play on my own, I still love Diddy Kong Racing.
I still have that jingle stuck in my head. That you did it! Like I still have that stuck in my head.
I'm Banjo.
I'm Conker. Woo!
Yeah, I played this. I think I played this last year.
Yeah, I remember you saying you played it. Yeah,
and it was good. I liked the story mode. I do think it's really really cool how they did like the transforming vehicle thing. Or no, they didn't transform, right? Just like each map was different.
Oh yeah, you could choose.
Yeah. The water, the planes, and the carts.
Yeah. But this game is like insanely hard. Like I don't know why it's so hard.
It is hard.
It was one of those like the boss fights. Like I had to save scum my way through this game. Like I never would have beat this without it. Like it's like insanely hard for a kart racing game. It was also like does not. Obviously, it's like an error of the time. It probably said in the instruction manual, but the game doesn't really teach you anything. I remember like I was struggling, like even on the most normal races. And then I Googled it and I found a post from on Reddit 2 years ago. Why the hell is Diddy Kong Racing so hard? And then one of the comments says, let go of A button right before a boost. The game's impossible without that knowledge. And then as soon as I read that, I'm like, oh my God. And it just made the races so much easier. Yeah, no, this is definitely a really cool, inventive game in the genre. Kind of surprised more games don't like really like Crash Racing has it.
Did it. Yeah.
And then the Sonic has a racing transform that does the like boats, that does like the transforming vehicles kind of idea. And I guess the new Mario Kart kind of took that a little bit with like the flying and stuff. But the Diddy Kong Racing I thought was really cool because each of the 3 vehicles did control like differently.
It's funny. The other game, like I played, my cousin had a PS1, so the kart racer he had on that was, of course, Parrott knows my favorite, Looney Tunes Kart Racer. So we compare Diddy Kong Racing to Looney Tunes, and Diddy Kong won, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, don't worry. You can put Looney Tunes Kart Racing on your top 10 PS1 list, which of course will be coming at some point. I'm sure.
Yes,
the best console ever made.
So we'll give Addi another. Well, he'll think this is an L, but it did get up to 6. Conker's Bad Fur Day with 20
Yeah,
points.
I figured. Honestly, I'm happy. I was hoping top 5, but 6 will take
I'll
it.
say before we get there, the top 5, there's a bit of a gap. So Conker had 20 points, and then top 5 is 32 points. So the top 5 is kind of in its own list, but Conker was the king of the rest of the games.
Just so you know, Addi, I had Conker at number 8 for me.
Thank you, Parrott. Where did you have it?
It would have been at probably like 30, 40.
Whoa.
Okay. Anyways, hold on. I'm just blocking him on Discord as we speak. But yeah, Conker is. I mean, I've kind of gone over this. It's number 1 for me. So this is my number 1 game. So goodbye, number 1 and 2. I think number 3 will do better though. But yeah, Conker is, to me, it's funny enough. It's like the last kind of game in North America ever released for the Nintendo 64. And it's my favorite. It's just there was nothing ever like this game when it was released, and I maintain there's really nothing like this game since its release.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see games that they kind of do a bunch of movie parodies and are gross out humor and have the charm and wit of Rare. The development of this game is fantastic. We talked about a little bit of this in the Conquer special episode, so I won't go on for too long. But the fact that this game was originally, this kid-friendly game, and then basically Banjo and Kazooie was being made at the same time and absolutely like wiped the floor with this game. And they're like, uh-oh, what are we going to do? Like, this game sucks compared to Banjo and Kazooie.
Mm-hmm.
And they just completely reinvented the game, made something unique and something different. I think it's just a testament to the talent there and of Chris Seavor, who was the creative director for this game. But yeah, it's so unique. There's nothing like it. I expected you to hate it, Strawhat.
I know that. I was going to say that was, I think, the biggest surprise of the 3D platformers year last year that we did. Like, I actually ended up really liking it, and Parrott didn't.
Yeah, like I thought, I didn't think Parrott was gonna like top 10 or anything, but I thought he'd like it more than you. And no, you ended up loving it, so that was a very pleasant surprise for me. But yeah, just so many great movie parodies in this. Obviously, as a big movie guy, I just appreciate the hell out of that. When fully voice acted, which for Nintendo 64 games, you don't see that often. Very story heavy, so Addi core right there. Yeah, I love this game. It's great. Go listen to the Conquer special episode if you haven't. If for nothing else than to hear us sing some beautiful opera.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the best part. Now, I played up. I didn't hate this game. I think I gave it a 2.5 or a 3. So, I didn't despise it, but there was parts about it I liked. I remember I thought the second half was like really good. I actually really liked that. But the first half, I just couldn't take it. But I persevered just for Addi. So, you know what? It did get better in the end.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. You're usually very quick to drop games, so the fact that you stuck it out, I don't
know if you've been paying attention, but Strawhat has taken my title as the king of dropping games.
I know.
Quickly.
I've been dropping games.
Have you been dropping games lately, Strawhat?
Oh yeah, I've no patience anymore. I'm like, if you listen to our last monthly update, I think I dropped 4 games last month.
Wow, what did you drop? I'm curious.
I dropped what was it? That strategy game that Colin always. Fell Seal.
Fell Seal.
I dropped that one because it's so ugly. I dropped that Uden Chronicles. I didn't like that.
Okay.
What else did I gotta look at my list. I don't remember.
He has so many. He just
that's okay. Wow, there's some character development here on the show. Some plot twists.
I'm not gonna say I don't still drop games, but Straw.
We actually have a new segment now called Dropped, just because Parrott and I do drop games. So. But yeah, I think Ryochi probably also had this one really high. I think this was his favorite N64 game.
Ryochi had a 2-game list, and he did have Conquer number 1. So
I figured
Ryochi, this is like the best thing you've ever done. I appreciate it. What was number 2 for Ryochi?
GoldenEye. But it was it was one of those things where he only had 2 games. So I'm like, well, I can't give them 10 and 9, so I had to like weigh him a little lower.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But shout out Ryochi.
He hates the N64 though.
No, I know, but he did. I remember him liking Conquer, which, again, I would have never predicted Ryochi to like Conquer. So definitely the people that I thought might enjoy it more didn't, but you and Ryochi really liked it. So W there.
And it wouldn't be in my top. It wouldn't be 40. I think I just looked while we were talking. I've only played like under 30 N64 games, so I guess it's in the top 30 for sure.
All right, top 30. Let's go.
And it's better than some of these junky games I have. So
I'll unblock you.
So now we're going to get into like the true, like predictable meat of the list. The top 5. So number 5 with 32 points was Ocarina of Time. I was a little surprised it fell this far, but like looking at the games ahead of it, I was not too shocked. This was the first Zelda game I ever played, but I played it on GameCube. But I had the Zelda Master collection, or no, I had the Ocarina of Time / Master Quest disc on GameCube, and then I eventually also ended up with the collector's edition that had like Zelda 1, 2, Majora's Mask, and Ocarina of Time. So this was my first experience with Zelda. I'm sure I've said it before, but I was horrible at it. But I played a lot of it. Like I just would play the opening, and then I would do the second dungeon up in the mountains, and then I would get to the fish, be so confused, and then just start over. But I just did that constantly. And yeah, I really this game I think still holds up today. It's set, it introduced Zelda to 3D, which is impressive because I long thought that I was a 2D Zelda over 3D person, but then like in the last couple of years I've played all the 3D ones and I've realized that it's not true. I actually like the 3D ones the best, and there's one I like more than Ocarina of Time we'll talk about shortly, but this game has to get a lot of credit for what it did.
Where did you guys have it on your lists?
I had
I'm
it
curious.
4.
4 and Strawhat?
I didn't put it on my list. I did
Oh,
play it,
okay.
but I never finished it, so I didn't feel
Okay.
right actually putting it. It wasn't the first Zelda I ever played was actually on GameCube, which was Wind Waker, which would have been my favorite one of the two.
Based.
But yeah, I played a lot of our Ocarina of Time, but I never finished it, so I didn't feel right putting it on the list. But it probably should have been on the list over NBA Courtside, but I didn't put it on.
You heard it here first, folks. NBA Courtside is better than Ocarina of Time.
There you go.
No, I had Ocarina of Time at 6th, and I really wanted to put it higher, but I just couldn't crack it in my top 5, especially when I think there's already a better Zelda game on 64, which we will get to. But no, Ocarina of Time's great, though. It's a classic. I can understand why so many people find this game so beloved. It's great. Like this game is probably the hardest game I ever beat as a kid, honestly, because it's just it's daunting. There's a lot to it. And I do remember I had a strategy guide for it. I didn't use it that often, though. Like I did have to consult it a couple times because there's a lot of cryptic stuff, especially as a kid, if you don't know what you're doing in these games. But yeah, no, it's a classic for sure. I mean, it's got the Zelda charm. The music is great. There's a lot to love. The ocarina mechanic of going from young Link to old Link is great. It's a good story. And I just remember, beating this game as a kid and feeling very accomplished. It was probably one of the more accomplished games I ever beat as a kid. So definitely a lot of good memories for Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I've been kind of wanting to go back and replay this one because I did end up beating it in like high school, and I feel like even in high school I was still kind of a stupid kid. Maybe it's because like all I played was my Xbox 360, and it was I was playing like Call of Duty and things where all you had to do was walk in a straight line, basically.
Sneak King.
Yeah, Sneak King. So it's just like I booted up Ocarina of Time again. Like, man, I'm too stupid for this, and I would just like followed a guide. But I can't imagine it's actually that hard for most of the game. So I kind of want to replay it. I remember dabbling with the 3DS port, and it was pretty good, but I had never finished it on there. So I've really only finished Ocarina of Time once, as far as I can remember. So I'd definitely be curious to go back to it again. But yeah, there's another Zelda game coming up shortly, so we'll talk about more of that there. So number 4, this one kind of hurt me a little bit. They had 33 points, one more than Ocarina of Time, and that's Super Mario 64, number 4.
Yeah, this was my fault.
I had it at number 3 on my list.
I had it at 2.
It was not in my top 10.
Ooh,
wow, that's
what hurt it.
You guys talk about it. I'll explain why in a bit.
All right,
Yeah.
so as I mentioned before, Mario 64, that was one of the games, like, I was just in love with the manual and the back of the box. Like, I stared at it, my uncle's friend had it, and I was just entranced by it. But then, kind of like Parrott, when I was younger, I was really dumb, and Mario 64 was kind of hard to figure out what to do sometimes. Like, I beat the bomb world, and I beat the Whomp's Fortress, but then I feel like after that, I pretty much was just run around and go crazy. I think I did make it up to like the Boo's Castle, but then I just couldn't figure out. I tried to do like the stairs confused me. Like once you got to that part where you have to get a certain amount of power stars before the stairs will actually let you go up them. But yeah, Mario 64, it's still, I actually 100%ed it back when it came out on the Switch collection. I still think it is one of the best controlling Mario games. Like Sunshine still is really good controls as well, but just still the movement to this day in Mario 64 still feels so good. And it's just so fun. And I love collecting the stars. All the worlds are really good. And yeah, I still, this is a game I just like to go back and play sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like it's really manageable 100% to like also because I've beaten this game probably 2 or 3 times and I've always got 100% in it because it's not that daunting, which is
Yeah.
nice. This is one I remember playing a little bit like when I was younger and like when I would borrow it, but I eventually beat it for the first time on Wii Virtual Console, and like even at that point, the Wii was out, so it's the game was pretty
Yeah.
old, and I really felt like it held up then, and I loved it. And then I played it again. I think I played it on Wii twice, and then I played it on the Switch port. And yeah, I think this game does hold up. Obviously, there's some issues with it. Camera. A lot of these N64 games, the camera definitely was the thing that holds a lot of them back.
Yeah.
But like the movement is good, the level design is great, and I just think it's really interesting if you like look at this like generation and you look at all like the 3D platformers that came out and like how they all tackled it in like a slightly different way. And I'm not going to say Mario 64 is not my favorite of the 3D platformers on N64, as everybody knows, but I do like love the way that they tackled 3D, and it has to get a lot of credit for that for being a pioneer. But it also, it's not just like a game that deserves credit for like history because it also does still hold up well.
So it's number like 11 or 12 for me. It's really close to my top 10. And I'll be honest with you, if I didn't try to play this game again on my Switch recently, it probably would have been in my top 10. That's just where I got to disagree. I don't think this game holds up at all. And that's why it's not in my top 10. I tried to go back and play this game on my Switch probably about 6 months ago now. And I had to drop it a couple hours in. I don't know if it was just me. Maybe it was a mood thing. The controls made me want to drive my head through a wall. That paired with the camera. So I respect the hell out of it. It's one of the first games I ever owned and played. I think what it did for gaming in general is massive and can't be understated, but I can't put it on my top 10. A lot of great memories for it. I will always love this game and appreciate it, but the way it played today, I just couldn't in good conscience put it in my top 10. It's just outside of there for me.
Yeah, I really don't have any issues with it, but I can understand why some would. I mean, there's definitely jank to it, but maybe I don't know how. Like sometimes it's hard to like be like because I think it holds up, but I also played it, a long time ago, and I've played it multiple times since. So like it's like maybe it's just like one of those things where it's okay in my mind because I played it so many times. But I don't know. I like the movement in this game. I like the way Mario feels to move around. The camera does suck. I won't argue that. Especially like the parts when you're flying. That's when it's really really bad. I remember.
Yeah, getting those red coins, the
Ugh.
8 red coins, I hated that part. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I really appreciate the game even more now if you go to try to play the DS version that doesn't have a control stick, and that'll really make you appreciate the original controls then.
It would be interesting if they ever like did like a remake of this game.
It would
I
be
don't know that
nice.
they would, but it would be pretty cool. I also have to shout out here. Raynick wrote in. He also a Nintendo 64 hater. He put one game on his list, and that is a ROM hack of Super Mario 64 called Super Mario 64 Sonic Edition. So
Blasphemy.
so he put that in there. I just had to say it. I didn't really know how to give that point, so I didn't, but I had to reference it.
These Sega people, I tell you.
It's pretty good. Just gonna say I tried it. Not bad. But now this game, number 3, this one surprised me that it got so high up. So with 34 points, 1 point more than Mario 64 because of Addi, and that's the original Paper Mario.
Oh yeah.
This isn't in my top 10 either.
No, this is not in mine.
Nah.
Number 2 for me. I almost put this one number 1.
It was number 2 for you, and 2 other people had it first, so that's how it got up so high.
Yeah.
Well, before I shit on it completely, go ahead, Strawhat.
Yeah, this is basically the game that got me into JRPGs. So, like, obviously, Super Nintendo, I was just too young for a lot of the big named RPGs. I didn't really know what I was doing or getting. I would just get whatever platformer or Looney Tune game was available. So I didn't have many JRPGs. And then I saw this one and I wanted it for Christmas one year. And my cousins made fun of me when I opened this present for Christmas. They're like, all you do in this game is make paper dolls. And I'm like, that is not true. But I was like, what if they're right? I'm like, I don't know for sure. Like, I had obviously we couldn't look up games. Like, we just had to go with what we thought. I'm like, oh no, that can't be right. But I was a little worried. But rest assured, it was great. Like, the combat's fun. It's a nice, simple story. Like, I think Thousand Year Door is better. But there's some things that this game does that's just it actually does a little better than Thousand Year Door, like with pacing and stuff. But it's just a fun, easy JRPG that is a good first JRPG you can take. And yeah, I really like the characters that joined Mario, and it was just something so unique at the time, and they did a great job. And there wasn't many RPGs on the N64, so it was desperately needed.
Yeah, this one I did not play again until I was on the Wii. So like I liked this game. It's just I never like thought about putting it in my top 10. I don't really have any nostalgia for it. To me it's kind of a bit forgotten in my mind. Like I remember playing it and there's certain parts of the game I remember, like the toy box level.
Oh
But
yeah.
ultimately like we're going to probably do an episode of Mario RPGs at some point soon, but it's kind of lower on the spectrum for me. But I understand why people like this one so much.
I am shocked it got so high. Like, I had it number 2, but I was actually afraid that you forgot to count the number like that I voted for, because I'm like, I don't think that many people would have voted for this, but I'm glad I was
Yeah.
wrong.
Moki and Sean both had it at number 1. So,
Nice.
and then I also got a couple of votes in the middle.
I apologize to Sean. I don't apologize to Moki. I fucking hate this game. Like, I hate this game. This game to me, like, so I love Super Mario RPG. Love Super Mario RPG. And when I played Paper Mario, I was expecting that, not this paper mache, plot thin paper mache 2 bullshit. I can't stand Paper Mario. It's basically sworn me off from any of the other Paper Mario games. I did try the GameCube one too. I just do not like that art style, so I didn't really get far in that one either. But yeah, I really do not like these games. Unlike Mario 64, like that one just missed. I respect the hell out of that game. I have zero respect for Paper Mario. I don't get it. Don't get it.
That cuts me deep.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Straw. So I apologize to you too, just not Moki. But yeah, no, I don't. I don't know, man. Like it's such a downgrade to me from Super Mario RPG. I've wanted them to do another Mario RPG like that, and they haven't.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was like right after they had a big fallout with Square too.
Yeah. So we got the remake.
We did.
So that was cool, and that's probably the last thing we'll ever get like that, because that's just I think that's so great. That is what I want a Mario RPG to be like. I think that game's fucking great.
So my number one memory of Paper Mario, like, are more closer to like the time it came out, was there was ads in the magazines for Paper Mario, and there's a cutout Paper Mario. Do you guys, either of you guys remember that?
I do remember it. Yep.
It was like, yeah, it was like a little Paper Mario, and you had like the lines cut them out. And I never played this game, but I had cut it out, and I don't know if I would say I use it as play with it as a toy, but I remember carrying it around all over the place. And then one day my little brother got mad and he ripped it in half, and I like wanted to kill him so bad. I just think about that all the time when I think about Paper Mario.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Now this one, number 2, not surprising that I got this high, but I'm a little surprised it didn't get to number 1 with 42 points, Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So I had Banjo-Kazooie at 5.
Yep, and I assume Straw had it at 1, and so did I.
Yep. I'll let you start this time, though.
Yeah, this is one that I played at my uncle's house for a while, and just like the look of it and the different, like the whole environment was just like, I was like obsessed with playing it and just wandering around. I was young and, as I keep saying, stupid, so I just like would play at his house, and I don't think I ever progressed anywhere, but I just like, it was very colorful. I liked the few worlds that I saw, so it was like always kind of one of those games that like I had in the back of my mind that I liked, but I never had it until, like, genuinely I never played it again until the Xbox 360 port. So like that's how long it took for me to play this game. But we talk about this a lot. It's just like, to me, the perfect collectathon 3D platformer. It's not too big, but it does still have a lot to do in it. The levels are varied. I love the different moves you unlock throughout the worlds. there's like there's a good amount of collectibles, but it's not too many like Banjo Tooie. And yeah, I don't know. We've talked about this a lot, so I'll kick it to you, Straw. But this is one of my favorite games of all time, so I obviously
Yeah.
was going to put it number one.
Yeah, it's the same for me. We've talked about it to death, and I'm sure we'll keep talking about it. But it's just like I think it is the perfect like 3D platformer. Like lengthwise, it's like that same thing with Mario 64 for me. Like it's under 10 hours to 100% for me, so it's easy just to pick up and play. I feel like even unlike Mario 64, every level is perfect. I don't really love Rusty Bucket Bay, but even then it's not that bad, and all the other levels are great, I think. So, and I still think it has the best like a world, like just home base world to explore, like in Gruntilda's lair. It's just has so many secrets and so many fun things to discover. And like you said, Banjo Tooie and then even Donkey Kong 64, as much as I like it, they went a little overboard with stuff to get, where I feel like Banjo Kazooie just was like the perfect amount of things to get. It's just like when you're ready to be done with the game, you're done with the game. I know the final boss fight's a little hard and can be cheap, but other than that, yeah, it's just platforming, collectathon perfection.
Yeah, Banjo Kazooie's great. I know I had it 5, but like 1 through 5 on my list are all like I really like all of those games. They're all really close to me in quality, so it's not really a slight to it. It's just I like the other 4 games a little bit more. But yeah, Banjo Kazooie is fantastic. It's definitely one of it's probably the most famous crowning achievement for Rare, I
Mhm.
would guess. Like I think when you think of Rare, you kind of think of Banjo and Kazooie. There's some other games too, but I mean that's the big one. And like I said, the game was literally so good it kind of ruined Conquer. Like this game came
Yeah.
out, and it blew it away, and then they already started working on Banjo Tooie, and it completely like screwed over their other development teams. So that's the quality of this game and how good it was. Um, Perfect collectathon though. It doesn't there's a lot of stuff to collect, but it never feels like it's too much. And you don't have to do it all if you don't want to. You can skip some stuff. So I think finding all the jigsaw puzzle pieces, the secrets of Mumbo. There's so much to explore and do in that game again. And then of course you got the stop and swoop urban legends. There was just so much cool stuff about this game. So yeah, Banjo Kazooie is a timeless game, and little surprised it's not number one. Honestly, I
And
did
I
think it
thought
was
it
going to
would
be
be
number one.
too.
But yeah, no, it's a great game for sure.
Also, you got to shout out Freeze Easy Peak. I still think it's like the best winter Christmas theme world in video games. Like it's just so perfect.
Yeah, I just love the characters in this game too. Always think about Mumbo Jumbo. I have some Banjo Kazooie merch on my desk.
Gruntilda too. Gruntilda's such a great villain.
Yeah, I mean,
What was Mumbo's thing? It was Ikum Bokum,
Yep,
Ikum
Ekum
Bokum.
yep.
Bokum.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, it's in my top 5 favorite games ever. So of course, it was gonna be number one for me, and it was very close. So I had 42 points, but the number one game was 44 points, and that was Zelda Majora's Mask, which I had third. So I had this very high up.
I had a third as well.
This is one that I've never played. I've only watched my brother play it, so I didn't count this one on my list again. But yeah, I have a big Zelda blind spot. I never really like I said, Wind Waker was the first one I ever played, and I never really went back. So, but yeah, I've heard so many amazing things about Majora's Mask.
Yeah, where to start with Majora's Mask? I mean, it's my second favorite Zelda game, just behind Wind Waker. Let's start there. I think Majora's Mask is interesting because if you're building a game, hey, what is the kind of game that Addi would hate? I feel like Majora's Mask probably checks off a lot of those boxes. The fact that it's time limited, I hate that in video games. That's like one of
Mhm.
my least favorite mechanics. I can't stand it. Now, to be fair, it's very easy to circumvent in Majora's Mask. It's not a big deal, but it's still there. And I still love this game. It's dark. It's moody. It's the darkest Zelda game. It's got a lot of personality to it. The fact that it was like made under crazy conditions to pump this game out, basically reskinning Ocarina of Time and making a new like awesome experience like this. I don't know. There's just so much to it, and then like all like it holds up well, and then its legacy is continued. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any of the creepy pastas or stuff for Majora's Mask, but they're fantastic, and it still kind of creeps me out to this day. Some of the stuff with that game,
Was that the one where it's like the haunted version of the game or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I scared Ed on an episode of Passive reciting one of the things. He's like, don't do that. But yeah, Majora's Mask is fucking great. I have no qualms with it being number one. Like I said, I had it in number three. And realistically, I mean, like, I had Conker's Bad Fur Day and Perfect Dark ahead of it. I had to debate between two and three, though. Conker was always going to be in my number one, but I almost slotted Majora's Mask into two. It's just a special game.
Yeah. So like, it's kind of cheating that I put it on here because I played the 3DS version. That's the version I finally played, but it was an N64 game, so I had to give it credit. And yeah, this was the one. I think I talked about it like a couple years ago when I played it at this point, but this was the Zelda game I was always scared to play because I was so scared of the concept of the time travel and the worst, as sure it's not a surprise if you think about it, but my worst nightmare in a game is having to replay stuff over again. That's like my nightmare. So I'm like, oh my god, what if I run out of time? What if I have to do this again? I don't want to do that. So like, I'd never played it until 2 years ago, and then I'm just like kicking myself for it because the time mechanic is awesome in my opinion. It gives you enough time, and it just kind of the way it functions. Like you really don't. I was never in danger of running out of time.
No, it's easy. It's easy to fucking game. It's not hard.
Yeah, and it does like create a bunch of cool moments in the game. Like it's very cool seeing like all the people, like all the characters have like a schedule for each of the days. You have to like learn that to solve certain puzzles. And then the dungeons, there are not nearly as many compared to Ocarina of Time. But I think the ones that are there are really, really really well done and fleshed out. And of course the masks are very cool when you get to toggle between them and change different forms. So it's very interesting how they like built Ocarina of Time. And then they definitely took a lot of that in this game, but they also just like instantly were like, okay, we've created 3D Zelda. Now it's like completely like a really bizarre version of what we just did.
Yeah, I always like when you're willing to kind of go off the beaten path and do something unique. Again, that's that word again. I've been using that a lot, and I think that kind of, if you were to kind of pick a word to sum up the Nintendo 64, I feel like unique's a pretty good word. You had a lot of weird games on there, a lot of offbeat games, a lot of games that would never come back again. You invented rumble packs. You did so many cool things with this system. And Majora's Mask is just another one of those little weirdities. Like, there would never be another Zelda game like this one again. It's really cool.
Yeah, Strawhat, you need to play this at some point. Okay.
You do. It's really good.
Yeah, I should. I was just I kind of would want to play the 3DS version. I was thinking.
Yeah,
but...
that's the one I played. But as long as you're playing the game, doesn't matter which version you go for, in my opinion. And it's definitely one you need to try because it's our number one N64 game now. It is set in stone.
That's true.
Yeah, I have some qualms with this list, but can't be too mad at the number one.
Yeah.
I was happy Conkers made it on the list for you, Addi. I was a little concerned, but
me too. Oh, when fucking what game was it that got knocked out early? When Perfect Dark got knocked out so early, I'm like, oh man, Conker's next. But no, it at least made it in there, so we're happy about that.
So do either of you guys, before we wrap it up, have any honorable mentions you want to shout out?
I got a ton. Let me just blast through some of these. Speaking of Blast Corpse. One of the weirder rare games. Have either of you guys ever played this game?
No, but I've heard about it.
It's weird. Give it a try sometime. I really like it. It's not in my top 10. It's so bizarre, but it's cool. And it's just another example that Rare can really do anything. Bomberman 64. Really, honestly, one of the only Bomberman games I really like. It's got a great story. I remember being addicted to like trying to fight all the bad guys as a kid. Love Bomberman 64. One of my favorite fighting games of all time is Clay Fighter 63 and a third. This game's great. It's just weird. It's wacky. It's bizarre. It's unique. Earthworm Jim's in it. Boogerman's in it. I mean, these are characters from my childhood, so of course this is going to be there. The Gex games, Gex 64 and Gex Enter the Gecko. Yeah, you played these pair?
I've not. I remember like being obsessed with watching my uncle play Gex 2, I think it was, and they're being remade and reported now. I'm like really excited to play them finally.
They are. That's awesome. Yeah, these are great games. Great games, worth it. Actually, these games have some kind of movie parody stuff in there too. Enter the Gecko does, at least. So definitely fun there. Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
I don't know if I've ever heard of this.
It's like a game where you're like fighting balls. I don't know. It's great. It's fun times. Mission Impossible. This is a weird one, but I really like the Mission Impossible game for Nintendo 64, just because like there was like weird missions where you could like use the face copying machine. And you had to like walk around. And I would just like punch random people and fail the mission, but I had fun doing it. So I don't know. It was a fun time. Jet Force Gemini, another rare banger. This game's really underappreciated in my opinion. Definitely one worth checking out if you haven't. It's very hard, very, very, very difficult, but fun nonetheless. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Either of you ever play that one?
Nope.
Nope. I read the book. I know it was like a big like Star Wars promotion at the time, right? There was like books and comics and the game.
One of my favorite Star Wars games, honestly. I think it's really cool. It's very unique because like there's like flying levels and shooting levels. So, like you kind of get a taste of everything Star Wars has to offer. The story was really cool. There's a jetpack. So yeah, I don't know. I had fun with it. The last one for me here was Winback Covert Operations. It's a game that probably like most people haven't heard of. What I really remember that's unique about this game and that I liked it is you basically like start with like this like cast of like 10 characters or so, and then if they died, they actually just died, and you'd move on to another character and you'd lose their part of the story. So that was really cool and something kind of unique for that time. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It played like shit, and I cannot imagine it holding up today, but I remember it being fun.
What about you, Straw? Of
So I gotta shout out Scooby Doo Classic Creep
course.
Capers. It's not even a good game, but I liked it growing up. I was excited to get it. It has like the worst hit detection of any game I've ever played. Like you can barely move and you'll get hit by something. It's awful, but I still recommend it, of course. So many sports games. Like I said, like half my library is sports games. We talked about NFL Quarterback Club, NBA Courtside, All Star Baseball 2000 was probably the baseball game I played the most. And then I like NBA Jam 2000. I don't know if you played that one, Parrott, but it's pretty much just like the NBA Jam that you'd play in the arcades. But it was great. I played tons of that one. Shout out to Rayman 2, which I just actually played last year on N64, and that was actually a pretty fun game. And I'm a little surprised Mario Party 2 didn't get any votes. Maybe that's coming honorable mentions, but it is a really good game too. Obviously, all the Mario parties are. I think that's pretty much all on my list that I had that I can think of.
So I only had one honorable mention, and that is Chameleon Twist, which is a game I remember renting obsessively. I don't know why. It's like one of those games where I rented it so much we should have just bought it, but it's really funny looking back at it. I want to go back and play it, but I just remember and I think it was so cool because you like shoot the tongue out and you could like pull objects or go towards them. But I don't know why they call this game Chameleon Twist when the characters do not look like chameleons at all. They're just like little round-headed, colorful. I don't know what they're supposed to be. Apparently, there's a Chameleon Twist too, but I did not play that.
I figured you would have been a Glover man, Parrot.
No, I have Glover. I also have a list of games that other people wrote in, and they're just games that even I've heard of, so I felt like they needed to be said. Glover was on that. I've never played Glover.
Glover's fun, actually. I like Glover. I was gonna say I remember renting Chameleon Twist and Glover one weekend, and I played a little bit of Chameleon Twist. It was fun, but I actually ended up playing Glover more. I like Glover. It's fun.
Yeah, I got to try that at some point. So a couple other ones. Rogue Squadron got a write in on a Star Wars game.
Yeah, Rogue Squadron's fun. That's a good one.
A couple shooters I remember that are like pretty famous. Turok, which just got added to Switch,
Turok.
and yeah. Doom 64, but I know that's a big one. Then some Nintendo games that just did not get any love, which I'm not shocked. 1080 snowboarding and Wave Race, I know were two.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Wave Race. You know, I had a lot of fun with Wave Race. That was, I don't know if it was a launch game or if it came out right after Mario 64. Because I think, if I recall correctly, I think Mario 64 was actually the only launch game for the Nintendo 64. I don't think they had another one.
I think it might have been that and maybe Pilot Wings, if that.
I think Pilot Wings was shortly after.
You might be right.
But yeah, both those games actually, Pilot Wings and Wave Race, I remember playing the hell out of just because like all I had was for a while Mario. And when a new game came out, they finally bought me one of them. And I think it was, I want to say it was Pilot Wings and I rented Wave Race. But yeah, I had fun with both those games. Not enough to be in my top 10, but they were fun.
Oh, that also reminds me, the other games, I if you guys played the Castlevania 3D games, I actually really liked the first one. I know they get a lot of hate, but I actually enjoyed the first Castlevania on N64.
It's actually one of the few I haven't played. So yeah.
Another Nintendo game, F-Zero X. No, they didn't get any write-ins. I've never
No,
played that one.
GX scared me away on GameCube. It was too hard.
I didn't play F-Zero. There was another game called let me see if I can find this game. Yeah, it was called Extreme G for the N64. And it's absolutely a knockoff of that game made by Acclaimed. I don't know why, but I just played that one.
Nice.
Then a game I remember renting, Hey You Pikachu. Horrible game. Horrible game.
Yeah, that game's awful. Awful game. Horrible.
So I had to shut that out. And then two more. Harvest Moon 64. I see that out and about a lot. That's talked about. So I felt like that needed to be shouted out. And then this was like one where I think that this is definitely more associated with PS1, but I feel like Tony Hawk just has to be mentioned. I don't think the N64 was like the Tony Hawk console, but it was the same era and all the games were on N64, so I felt like it just needed to be shouted out.
Yeah, just like Resident Evil 2 on N64.
Yep. N64 had some weird ports between that and I think we mentioned the StarCraft 64 earlier.
Yep.
There was definitely some games you're like, why is this on the Nintendo 64? I don't think either of them were particularly good, to be honest with you, but it's cool they were there.
And that does it for like my like brief research into games that I felt like needed to be shouted out. Is there any other ones, or do you think that's about it for us?
Yeah, I'm tapped out.
No, I think we've gone through most of the bangers. Definitely mentioned some underappreciated gems. Like I said, there's a lot to love about the 64. It's such a weird console. It's that time for Nintendo where they were kind of transitioning, and they were finally getting real competition. Like the PS1 was a juggernaut at that point.
Yep.
Coming out the gate, they went over Square at that point, so Nintendo lost Final Fantasy VII. So it was definitely a weird console, and I think they did the best they could with what they had.
It's funny, like I feel like the N64 is actually like really fun to collect especially like because that's the last home console that did the boxes. Like I have, I think 6 N64 games complete in box, which is Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64, Paper Mario, Scooby-Doo Classic Creepers, of course, and All-Star Baseball 2000. I'd really like to get Super Mario 64, but good luck getting some of these games. And the boxes, of course, are expensive.
Yeah, like I mean, you know how long I wanted a Conker's Bad Fur Day
Yeah.
for, but it's just ridiculous. Especially because that's like the last game ever made, so there wasn't.
Yeah,
a ton of
it's
copies
one of
for
the
it.
most expensive ones. Even the cartridge itself is like $250 or something. It's still that Clay Fighters game you mentioned. I think is the rarest one though. Like if you get the Blockbuster one or whatever, that's like thousands.
So Clay Fighters 63 and a third, there was a director's cut that was only available at Blockbusters. And I think it just added in a couple more characters and like a couple of different stages. But the thing was, because it was Blockbuster, they usually threw the case out. So the cartridge alone is worth a lot of money because you can only get a Blockbuster. But if you can find one with the case, oh boy, it is worth a pretty penny because it's just basically, unless you stole it somehow or you figured out a way to get it, it's incredibly rare. But yeah, the actual regular Clay Fighter 63 and a third, really underappreciated gem. I think that game is so fun and silly and stupid. We forgot to mention, I think I did mention a fighter quickly, but Killer Instinct Gold.
Yeah.
I really like the Killer Instinct games. Just another example of Rare doing weird shit. But yeah, that was another fun fighting game too.
All right. I feel like like we said earlier, the Nintendo 64 did not really have a large catalog of games. So I feel like we have mentioned, a large majority of them.
Oh, you know what? One I just remembered, the boxing games, Ready to Rumble. I don't know if you guys played that, but I played that tons with my cousin, Ready to Rumble boxing.
Yeah, that game's actually more known for being a Dreamcast game. But yeah, I do actually remember playing Ready to Rumble, and it's a fun game for sure. I like those games.
So yeah, just before we go, I looked. There's 296 North American Nintendo 64 games.
Oh fuck! I said 700. I was way off.
Yeah, there's not a lot. So we probably mentioned about 100 of them today.
Yeah.
I would bet, between all the just shout outs and references and sequels of things. So yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo was very happy to move on from the N64 era. They did pretty quickly into the GameCube, which, I mean, the GameCube is definitely critically did a better job than the Nintendo 64. Commercially, not so much though.
I think it
Between the
sold
N64,
less, actually.
yeah. So between the N64 and GameCube, Nintendo was about done, and they really lucky they hit the Wii and were able to make that
Yeah.
new cultural icon. Because if they had another failure, I honestly don't know if there'd be another Nintendo today.
Well,
Like they were in dire straits after those
well,
consoles.
like you said, the PS1 was a juggernaut, but even that was nothing compared to the PS2. That was the ultimate juggernaut.
Yep.
I think maybe the Switch is going to pass it, which is pretty crazy. But other than, I didn't think anything was ever going to pass the PS2.
Yep. No, it's insane how Nintendo managed to bounce back from. Like it's a good story. Like it's a very interesting story because, if they had one more console like the GameCube, we'd be looking at a very different video
Yeah.
game landscape, I think, today. But the Wii came out and it's history.
Yeah, I just looked. The Nintendo 64 sold about 33 million.
Mm-hmm.
How many did the GameCube sell?
22.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, they were cooked. They were cooked at that point if they had another one like that.
And then the Wii sold 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wii was a smash hit. I believe it destroyed pretty much everything else. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Addi. You're by far the biggest Nintendo 64 fan I knew. So we had to make the schedule work.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done this without you.
So sorry I had to kick this one a couple of times, but I really appreciate you waiting for me. This is definitely one I really wanted to be on because I think I'm definitely probably the most passionate N64 fan out of anyone in there. So I was really glad to be on it. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining. Check us out next time. We'll be back with our usual recaps, and we have a lot more fun top 10s coming up as always. We've been kind of going through these systems. So PS1 is up soon, and then GameCube will be up soon. That's going to be a really hot one to try to. A lot of people want to be on that episode, so we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do. But
you guys have seen The Dark Knight, right?
yes.
Yep.
Just get the pool stick. Snap it and just get them all in a circle and just be like, whichever one's left, you're on the episode.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people want to be on. So we might have to do something like that. But yeah, thanks again for joining us. I hope this, motivates some people to just go try some N64 games. I know that's what I've been kind of thinking the last few weeks. So I'm going to go try some of these out that I never tried. So, write in, tell us if our list is good. I mean, you can't say it's bad because this is definitive. So you just got to accept it. Mm-hmm. Tell us how good the list is. But yeah, till next time, we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Sayonara.